Hi, this is Karen with Creative Personalized Keepsakes, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make personalized laminated bookmarks for any occasion or event. First things you'll need to get together: desktop publishing software, a good printer, cardstock. I use a 110 pound 8.5 by 11, a cold roll laminator, or otherwise known as a heat-free laminator, a paper cutter or trimmer. A rotary cut is the best, a hole punch, and a corner rounder, and those last two items are optional. Step 1. Design your bookmarks. You could use MS Publisher, MS Word, or any other desktop publishing program you're familiar with, as long as you can set up the page for bookmarks. All of the bookmarks are created in Microsoft Publisher. And I'm using Office 2003. I haven't found a need to upgrade, so I haven't. Alright, now, what I do is I create the bookmark in Microsoft Publisher. Sometimes I use Photoshop to get a picture. Maybe I want to put 2 or 3 pictures together, or I want a special look to the font the publisher won't do. So I'll use Photoshop to accomplish that. But basically they're all done in Publisher. And what I do is, let's say we're going to do a new one. Okay, so let's do File, New. And I start out with a blank publication, and I just use a blank one. Okay, so let's bring this down here. I close that, and now we're left with a blank page. To set up the bookmarks, I do a File, Page Setup, and I do Custom. Set it at Landscape. My bookmarks are 2 inches wide by 7.5 inches long, and that gives you 4 to a page. Which means whatever design you design on here, just like with the Halloween one, it is going to be 4 to a page. Okay, so here's the Halloween. It's 1. And what I usually do is go beyond the 2 inches. So you will see with this in particular, let me move this over here, you will see I've gone out wider than what it says. And the reason I do that is to give myself enough room for trimming without making the bookmark too narrow. Let's do a print preview. This tells me what it's going to look like. This is actually print previewing in PDF. Step 2. Print your bookmarks. The best printer for full color is a printer with 4 to 5 separate ink cartridges. Each cartridge is a different color. The best printer to get is one that has separate cartridges. This particular one is an Epson Workforce 520. I believe now it's discontinued. I've had this for a couple years and it's been a real workhorse for me. But what you want to look for is 4 separate cartridges. Right up in here, indicators of what colors go into what, and this is the cartridge holder. I'm not changing cartridges right now, so I'm not going to move this over. But here is an indicator of the black. This particular printer takes 2 black cartridges, and then a magenta, and then a blue, and then a yellow. So instead of having one cartridge be black and then a separate cartridge be all color, or one cartridge only in your printer that's like a tricolor, you want to get the ones that have separate ink cartridges. This way, when you run out of one particular ink, you just change that one cartridge. It's actually very cost effective, and it's the better way to use it. These types of printers also, because the colors are 4 color printing, your bookmarks come out a lot better. Step 3, laminate your bookmarks. If you
you want durable, long-lasting bookmarks, it's best to use a cold roll or heat-free laminator, not a laminator that uses pouches and heats the bookmarks to the inside of the pouch.
Print them out on standard 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Now this one's blank because I've already done this project. But we would slide it into this laminator, and then it comes out the other side. And that's what it looks like. So now it's laminated on all the sides.
Number 4, trim your bookmarks. The best tool for cutting apart and trimming the laminated bookmarks is a rotary cutter, not a guillotine paper trimmer.
And this is a Smart Cut rotary trimmer. And it's a lot easier to see where you're lining things up at. And then just trim the edges around.
Step 5 is optional. If you're going to add tassels, you need to hole punch your bookmarks. I use a Fiskars 1 1/16 inch size for small holes.
It's not a big standard hole. As you can see, it's very small. And then I punch right through where I've made my little markers. It's easier to punch these holes while you still have 4 attached than do picking up one, punching a hole, picking.
Number 6, use the rotary paper trimmer and finish separating and trimming the edges of the bookmarks.
I separate them.
Step 7 is optional, and that's rounding the corners of your bookmarks. You want to use a round craft tool to trim the corners, and I use a Marvy.
When all separated, then I take this little, I think this is a Fiskars. This is a Marvy. If you can see that. Marvy. And this is a corner rounder. And then this rounds the corners. Nice finished piece there.
Step 8 is also optional, and that's adding the tassels. To attach the tassels, I use a small 2.2 millimeter size crochet needle.
They're real pretty. And what I use, because this hole is small, because it's a very small hole, as you can see, it's not a standard great big hole like you would get in a school hole punch or something like that. I use a crochet hook, very tiny, it's a 2.2 millimeter. This is the perfect size. Because all you want to do is pull it in through the back, and then you twirl this around, so you're just going to pull it right in through here. And that's a completed bookmark.
And those are the finished bookmarks. And if you'd like to have them all done for you from beginning to end, start to finish, stop by creativepersonalizedbookmarks.com.